The Great Hall of the United Earth Federation was silent. 200 diplomats, generals, and leaders sat in their seats, watching the alien ambassador speak. The creature stood 9 feet tall, with 6 legs and a hard shell that clicked when it moved. Its eyes, all 8 of them, looked at the humans with something close to disgust. Park Joon-ho sat at the center of the hall. He was 58 years old, with gray hair and tired eyes. He had been president of Earth for 12 years. Before that, he was a general who fought in 3 wars. He had seen death. He had caused death. But he had never felt the cold anger he felt now. The alien ambassador's translator device turned its clicking sounds into words. The Galactic Confederation has made its decision. Humanity is hereby quarantined to its home system. No human ship may travel beyond the boundary of your star. No human may leave. No trade, no contact. This is permanent. A wave of shock moved through the hall. Some diplomats stood up in anger. Others sat frozen. "This is outrageous," shouted Admiral Yoon-hana from her seat. She was a woman in her early 50s, with short black hair and sharp eyes. She commanded Earth's space fleet. "We have been loyal members of the Confederation for 200 years. The alien made a sound that the translator turned into laughter. "Loyal? You are not loyal. You are tolerated. Humanity is violent, unstable, and dangerous. The elder races have decided you will stay in your cage." Park Joon-ho raised his hand slowly. The hall went quiet. He looked at the alien ambassador with calm eyes. "May I ask a question?" he said softly. The alien tilted its head. "You may." "In 200 years, how many times has humanity broken Confederation law?" The alien paused. "That is not relevant." "I think it is. The answer is 0. We followed every rule. We paid every tax. We sent soldiers to die in your wars. And now you cage us. Why?" The alien stepped closer to Park Joon-ho. It towered over him. "Because you are primitives. You discovered space travel only 500 years ago. The elder races have existed for millions of years. You do not belong among us. You never did." Park Joon-ho nodded slowly. "Thank you for your honesty. Confederation expects your compliance within 30 days. Any human ship found beyond your boundary will be destroyed." The alien turned and walked out of the hall. Its guards followed behind it. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then the hall exploded with noise. Diplomats shouted. Generals argued. Some people cried. Some cursed. But Park Joon-ho sat still. He did not speak. He did not move. He simply watched the door where the alien had left. Admiral Yoon-hana pushed through the crowd and reached him. "President Park, we need to respond." "Need to not hear," he said quietly. "Come with me." He stood and walked out of the hall through a side door. Yoon-hana followed him. They walked through empty corridors until they reached an observation deck. The room had a glass ceiling that showed the stars above Earth. Park Joon-ho stood and looked up at the sky. His hands were behind his back. "Do you know what I was thinking, Admiral, while that creature insulted us?" Yoon-hana shook her head. "No, sir. I was thinking about my grandmother. She died when I was young. Before she died, she told me a story. She said that when she was a girl, there was a great plague. Millions of people were sick. Earth begged the Confederation for medicine. The medicine existed. It was simple for them to make. Do you know what they said?" "No, sir." "They said humans were too primitive to deserve their medicine. 40 million people died. My grandmother lost her parents, her brothers, her sisters. She survived alone." Park Joon-ho's voice remained calm, but his hands tightened into fists. "She told me to never forget. I never did." Yoon-hana was quiet for a moment. "What do you want to do, sir?" "Duh." Park Joon-ho turned to face her. His eyes were no longer tired. They burned with something cold and hard. 150 years ago, my predecessors realized the truth. The galaxy will never accept us. They will always see us as animals. So we began to prepare. In secret, in silence. For this day, Yoon-hana's eyes widened. "Project Horizon, it's real?" "It's real. 10,000 warships, weapons they cannot imagine. Technology we stole, improved, and perfected. All hidden, all waiting. Sir, are you saying, I am saying that we gave peace every chance? We tried for 200 years. We begged. We compromised. We humiliated ourselves, and they still see us as nothing. Park Junho walked closer to her. No more. Activate Protocol Sunrise. Yoon-hana stood straight. Her face became hard. Yes, sir. And the council? I will address them now. They walked back toward the great hall. The noise inside had not stopped. When Park Junho entered, he walked to the central platform, raised his hand, and slowly the room became quiet. I know you are angry, he said. I know you are scared. I know you feel helpless. But I need you to listen carefully. He paused and looked around the room. Every eye was on him. For 2 centuries we begged for scraps. We asked for respect, received contempt. We asked for fairness. We received chains. Today, they have told us we are animals who belong in a cage. His voice rose. But they made one mistake. They forgot what animals do when they are cornered. They forgot that humans do not break. We do not surrender. We do not kneel. He slammed his hand on the podium. Today, I declare humanity's answer. We do not accept their cage. Do not accept their contempt. If they want war, they will have it. And they will learn why the galaxy should have feared us from the beginning. The hall erupted. But this time, it was not chaos. It was a roar of anger, of pride. 200 years of humiliation finally given a voice. Admiral Yoon-hana watched from the side. She felt her heart beating fast. She had spent her whole life preparing for this moment. The war for humanity's place in the stars had begun, and the galaxy had no idea. What was coming? The transport ship moved silently through the darkness of space. Admiral Yoon-hana sat near the window, watching as they passed the frozen moons of Neptune. Most people on Earth did not know this place existed. Most people had no idea what humanity had built in the shadows. The ship descended toward Triton, Neptune's largest moon. But it did not land on the surface. Instead, it flew into a massive door hidden inside a crater. The door closed behind them. Yoon-hana saw the truth of Project Horizon for the first time. The underground base was the size of a city. Thousands of workers moved between buildings. Factories produced weapons. Engineers tested engines. And in the center of it all, in a cavern so large it could hold a mountain, sat the fleet 10,000 warships. Each one painted black. Each one carrying the symbol of a rising sun on its hull. They were beautiful and terrible, like sleeping dragons waiting to wake. Impressive, is it not? Yoon-hana turned. A man in a white coat walked toward her. He was in his 60s, with thin glasses and kind eyes. This was Dr. Kong Min-ho, the chief scientist of Project Horizon. How? She asked. How did we build all this without anyone knowing? Doctor, Kong smiled. Patience, secrecy, and anger. Lots of anger. He gestured for her to follow. Come, let me show you what we have made. They walked through the base. Dr. Kong explained everything. 150 years ago, Earth's leaders realized the galaxy would never accept humanity. They would always be treated as lesser beings. So they made a choice. They would pretend to be weak. They would accept every insult. And in secret, they would build an army. We stole their technology, Dr. Kang said. Every time an alien ship crashed near Earth, we recovered it. Every time we traded with them, we copied their designs. Then we improved them. Improved how? Dr. Kang stopped in front of a massive weapon mounted on a platform. It looked like a cannon, but it glowed with strange energy. This is a singularity missile launcher. The aliens have nothing like it. One shot from this can destroy a station the size of a moon. We have thousands of them. Yoon-hana stared at the weapon. They have no idea. None. They still think we fight with simple guns and slow ships. They are about to learn how wrong they are. A door opened nearby, and a woman in military uniform entered. She was young, maybe 35, with a scar across her left cheek. Her eyes were cold and focused. Admiral Yoon, the woman said, saluting. I am Colonel Bae Soo-jin. I command the Ghost Division. Ghost Division. Our special forces. 2,000 soldiers trained for impossible missions. We have been preparing for 15 years. Sujin's voice was calm but hard. While you were waiting for orders, we were already moving. In the past 48 hours, my teams have disabled early warning systems in 12 alien sectors. Yunhana felt a chill run down her spine. You moved before the declaration. President Park's orders. By the time the aliens realize we are coming, it will be too late. Another person entered the room. She was a small woman with sharp eyes and a tablet in her hand. This was Shinari, the head of Earth's intelligence network. Admiral Shinari said, I need to brief you on what we know about the enemy. They moved to a conference room. Shinari activated a hologram that showed the entire galaxy. The Galactic Confederation has 47 member species. Of those, only 12 have significant military power. The rest are weak. They will not fight. And the 12? Yunhana asked, overconfident. They have not fought a real war in 3,000 years. Their fleets are old. Their tactics are older. They rely on numbers, not skill. Shinari smiled slightly. We have agents in every major government. KN. Ow. Their secrets. We know their weaknesses. We know where their leaders sleep. Yunhana looked at the hologram. Red dots marked enemy positions. Green dots marked hidden human forces. How long until we can strike? The fleet is ready now, Doctor. Kong said. We have been ready for 20 years. We were just waiting for the order. A communication screen lit up. President Park Junho's face appeared. He looked tired, but determined. Admiral Yoon, is everything in place? Yes, sir. The fleet is ready? Special forces have completed their missions. Intelligence is prepared. Park nodded slowly. Good, I have just sent our declaration to every species in the galaxy. By tomorrow, they will know that humanity is no longer asking for respect. We are taking it. What are your orders, sir? Strike hard. Strike fast. Show no weakness, but remember who we are. Park's voice became heavy. We are not monsters. We do not kill civilians. We do not torture prisoners. We fight with honor, even against those who showed us none. Understood, sir. The screen went dark. Yunhana turned to face Colonel Sujin, Dr. Kong, and Shinari. Hear the president? This is the moment we have waited for. 150 years of patience. 200 years of humiliation. It ends now. She walked to the window overlooking the fleet. 10,000 warships hummed with power. Lights flickered on across their hulls. Engines began to glow. Launch the fleet. The massive doors of the base opened. Stars appeared beyond them. One by one, the black ships rose and flew into space. They moved in perfect formation, silent and deadly. Colonel Sujin stood beside Yunhana. The aliens think they caged us. Yes, they were wrong. Very wrong. Yunhana watched as the last ships left the base. They locked us in with them. And now they will learn what humanity can do when it has nothing left to lose. The fleet spread across the darkness like a tide of shadow. Each ship moved toward its target. Each pilot knew their mission. Each soldier understood what was at stake. The galaxy had pushed humanity to the edge. Now humanity was pushing back, and the stars themselves would tremble. The galaxy burned in the first hour. Humanity struck 30 targets at once. Shipyards exploded. Military stations went dark. Communication networks collapsed. The alien empires had no time to react. By the time they understood what was happening, it was already too late. Captain Lee Yoonji stood on the bridge of her ship, the Silent Thunder. She was 32 years old, one of the youngest captains in the fleet. Her crew of 300 trusted her completely. Today, she would show them why. Target in sight, her navigator reported. The Confederation's largest shipyard, 15,000 enemy ships docked. Defenses active. Yoonji looked at the massive structure through her window. It was the size of a small moon, covered with weapons and shields. Aliens believed it was impossible to destroy. They were wrong. Load the Singularity missile, Yoonji ordered. Fire on my command. Her weapons officer worked quickly. A hum filled the ship as the weapon charged. Outside, enemy fighters scrambled to defend the station. But they were too slow, too confused. Fire. A ball of compressed darkness shot from the silent thunder. It crossed the distance in seconds and hit the station's center. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the ball expanded. It became a hole in reality itself, pulling everything into it. The station bent, cracked, and collapsed. 15,000 ships vanished into the void. When the singularity closed, nothing remained. Only dust and silence. Yanji let out a breath. Report. Target destroyed, Captain. No survivors detected. She nodded. One target down. Many more to go. Set course for the next objective. Far away, on an alien planet called Voroth, Sergeant Han Dojin led his soldiers through the streets of an enemy city. The ground shook from distant explosions. Black smoke filled the air. Civilians ran in panic. Duhan was a large man with a calm face. He had been a soldier for 20 years. He had killed many enemies, but he had rules. Listen up, he said to his squad. We are here for the military base, not the civilians. Anyone who harms an innocent person will answer to me. Understood?
Yes, Sergeant.
They moved through the city carefully. Alien soldiers appeared ahead, firing their weapons. Doyen's squad took cover and returned fire. The battle was short. Human weapons were faster, stronger, more accurate. The enemy fell quickly. A young soldier named Yuji Wan knelt beside a wounded alien. She was a medic, trained to save lives. The alien looked at her with fear in its many eyes. It's okay, Kyuan said softly. I'm not going to hurt you. She bandaged the alien's wounds. Other soldiers watched in surprise, but Doyan nodded with approval. This is what separates us from them, he said. They treated us like animals. We'll not do the same. Across the galaxy, President Park Geun-ho's message played on every screen, every speaker, every device. Citizens of the galaxy, for 200 years, humanity asked for peace. We asked for respect. We asked to be treated as equals. Refused. You called us primitives. You denied us medicine while our children died. You stole our colonies. You blamed us for crimes we did not commit. And now you tried to cage us forever. Park's voice was calm but filled with steel. You were wrong about us. We are not weak. We are not primitive. We have watched. We have learned. We have prepared. And now, we have come to collect what you owe us. This is not revenge. This is justice. Surrender, and you will be treated with mercy. And you will fall. The choice is yours. The message ended. Across the galaxy, alien leaders stared at their screens in shock. This was impossible. Humans were supposed to be weak. They were supposed to be easy to control. How had this happened? Admiral Yoon Hana commanded the main fleet from her flagship, the Eternal Dawn. She watched as enemy ships retreated in confusion. Her tactics were simple but effective. Strike where they least expected. Disappear before they could respond. Strike again, Admiral her communications officer said. We're receiving surrender signals from 3 species. Already, Yoon Hana raised an eyebrow. It's only been 1 week. Their military is destroyed. They have no way to fight back. Yoon Hana thought for a moment. Accept their surrender. Treat them well. Let them spread the word that humanity shows mercy to those who yield. And those who don't yield? Her eyes became hard. They will learn the cost of pride. Back on Vorath, Sergeant Doyan's squad had captured the military base. Thousands of alien soldiers surrendered. They knelt with their hands up, waiting to be killed. That was what their own armies would have done. Instead, Doyan ordered his soldiers to give them food and water. An alien commander stared at him in confusion. Why? We are your enemies. Doyan looked down at the creature. Yes, you are. But we are not like you. We do not enjoy cruelty. We fight because we must, not because we want to. The alien was silent for a long moment. We're strange beings. Or maybe we are what the galaxy should have been all along. By the end of the first month, 12 species had surrendered. Human ships controlled 30% of the galaxy. The Confederation was in chaos. Their council met in emergency sessions, screaming at each other, blaming each other. But it was too late for blame. The humans had been underestimated for the last time. And they were just getting started, far from the fighting. On a quiet observation deck, a young human pilot named On Sunwoo looked at the stars. He was 28 years old. He had dreamed of flying among the stars since he was a child. He was living that dream, but it was nothing like he imagined. "Are you scared?" asked his co-pilot, a woman named Kim Hae-yeon. "Yes," Sun Woo admitted. "But I'm more scared of what happens if we lose. We can't go back to being caged. Can't go back to being nothing." Hae-yeon nodded. "Then we won't lose." Sun Woo smiled slightly. "No, we won't." The war continued. Battles raged across star systems. Ships exploded in the void. Soldiers fought and died on alien worlds. But through it all, humanity pressed forward. Not with hatred, not with cruelty, but with determination and purpose. They were fighting for their place in the universe, and nothing would stop them. The remaining alien empires were desperate. In 3 months of war, they had lost half their territory. 12 species had surrendered. Their mighty fleets were scattered and broken. But they refused to give up. The leaders of the 7 strongest remaining species met in secret. They put aside their ancient rivalries and hatreds. They combined their fleets into one massive armada. They called themselves the Final Coalition. Their plan was simple: attack Earth directly, kill the human homeworld, end the war with one strike. 50,000 warships gathered at the edge of human space. It was the largest fleet ever assembled in galactic history. The coalition commanders believed victory was certain. The humans had only 10,000 ships. The numbers were overwhelming. They were about to learn that numbers meant nothing against determination. On Earth, Vice President Choi Hae-jin received the news. She was a woman in her late 40s, with calm eyes and steady hands. While President Park commanded the war, she managed everything at home. She kept the people fed. She kept the factories running. She kept hope alive. "How long until they reach us?" she asked. "Why did 3 days?" her advisor replied. "They will arrive near Jupiter." Hae-jin closed her eyes. 3 days. That was all the time they had. "Send word to Admiral Yoon. Tell her the enemy is coming." Admiral Yoon Hannah received the message aboard the Eternal Dawn. She read it twice, then smiled. Finally, she said, "They're doing exactly what we wanted." Our officers looked confused. "Admiral, they outnumber us 5-1. Yes. And that is why they will lose." She turned to her tactical display. "For 3 months, we have been pushing them, hurting them, making them angry. We wanted them to combine their forces. We wanted them to attack Earth, because now they will come to us, to our territory, to our trap." She issued orders. The human fleet moved to Jupiter's moons. Engineers placed hidden weapons on asteroids. Ships positioned themselves behind the giant planet storms. Everything was ready. 3 days later, the coalition fleet arrived. The alien commanders saw the human ships waiting near Jupiter. They laughed. 10,000 against 50,000. It would be a slaughter. "All ships advance," the coalition leader commanded. "Destroy them all." The battle began. At first, it seemed like the aliens were winning. Their ships swarmed forward, firing thousands of weapons. Human ships exploded. The defense lines bent under the pressure, but then the trap activated. Hidden weapons on the asteroids fired. Massive beams of energy cut through the alien fleet. Ships that thought they were safe suddenly found themselves surrounded. Human vessels appeared from behind Jupiter's moons. Attacking from angles the enemy never expected, Admiral Yoon Hannah commanded from the center of the battle. Her voice was calm as chaos raged around her. "All ships execute Pattern 7. Focus fire on their command vessels." The human fleet moved like a single living creature. Every ship knew its role. Every pilot trusted their commander. They had trained for this moment their entire lives. And his fighter pilot on Sun Woo flew through the storm of weapons fire. His squadron followed behind him. Their target was the coalition flagship, a massive vessel at the center of the enemy fleet. If they could destroy its shields, the Eternal Dawn could finish it. "Stay close," Sun Woo ordered his pilots. "We're going straight through." "That's suicide," Kim Hae-yeon said from beside him. "Maybe, but it's the only way." They flew into the heart of the enemy fleet. Ships exploded around them. Sun Wu's hands were steady on the controls. He dodged weapons fire that came from every direction. One by one, his squadron fell. Heiyin's ship was hit. She spun away into the darkness. Sun Wu was alone. But he was close. So close, the coalition flagship loomed ahead. Its shields glowed with power. Sun Wu armed his final weapon. It was a special bomb designed to overload shield generators. For Earth, he whispered. For everyone, he flew directly at the flagship. Enemy weapons hit his ship. Alarms screamed. Fire filled his cockpit, but he did not turn away. At the last moment, he launched the bomb and ejected. The bomb hit the flagship shields. They flickered. They failed. Admiral Yun Hana saw the opening. All main cannons, fire on the flagship. Now, 100 beams of light struck the coalition flagship at once. The massive ship cracked, broke, and exploded in a ball of fire. The coalition fleet froze. Their commander was dead. Their flagship was gone. Confusion spread like a disease, and then Dr. Kong Minho activated humanity's final weapon. It was called the Silence. A device that could disrupt the power network shared by all alien ships. Humanity had discovered the network years ago, but had never used this knowledge. Until now, across the battlefield, coalition ships went dark. Their engines died. Their weapons stopped. Their lights faded. 50,000 vessels hung in space like dead fish. Admiral Yun Hana broadcast to the entire fleet. Coalition forces. Your weapons are gone. Your commander is dead. Your fleet is helpless. But we are not murderers. Surrender now, and you will live. Continue fighting, and you will die. The choice is yours. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then, one by one, white lights appeared on the alien ships. Surrender signals. First 10 ships. Then 100, then 1,000. 80% of the coalition fleet surrendered. The remaining 20% tried to run. Human ships hunted them down without mercy. Within hours, the Battle of Jupiter was over. On Earth, Vice President Choi Hajin watched the reports come in. Her hands trembled. Tears ran down her face. It's over, she whispered. My God, it's actually over. Rescue teams searched the battlefield. They found on Sun Wu floating in his escape pod, badly wounded, but alive. Medics rushed him to the hospital ship. Against all odds, he had survived. Admiral Yun Hana stood on her bridge, looking at the field of broken ships. She had won the largest battle in galactic history, but she felt no joy, only exhaustion. Admiral, her officer said quietly, what do we do with the prisoners? Feed them, heal them. Treat them well. She paused. And send them home with a message. Tell them what they saw today. Tell them that humanity does not enjoy killing. But we will do whatever is necessary to survive, yes, Admiral. The human fleet began the long process of cleaning the battlefield. Ships that could be saved were saved. Ships that could not were destroyed. The war was not over. There were still enemies who had not surrendered. But the worst was past. Humanity had faced the full might of the galaxy, and humanity had won. 6 months after the Battle of Jupiter, the war was over. The last enemy fleets had surrendered. The last resistance had crumbled. Humanity stood victorious over a galaxy that had tried to cage them. Now came the harder question. What would they do with their victory? Leaders from every species in the galaxy gathered on Earth for a historic meeting. They came in fear, expecting revenge. For 200 years they had treated humanity with contempt. They had denied them medicine. They had stolen their colonies. They had called them primitives and animals. Now the primitives had won. They waited for the punishment to begin. President Park Geun-hye walked slowly to the podium. He was 60 years old now. The war had aged him. His hair was completely gray, and his face was lined with exhaustion. But his eyes were still sharp. He looked at the alien leaders. He saw their fear. He understood it. If the situation were reversed, he would feel the same. Then he spoke, and his words shocked them all. You expected punishment today? You expected us to do to you what you did to us. Deny you medicine? Take your colonies. Treat you like animals. He paused. But we did not fight this war to become what we hated. Silence filled the room. We fought because you gave us no choice. We fought for survival. We fought for our children's future. And now that we have one, we must choose what kind of future we want to build. He stepped away from the podium and walked among the alien leaders. Some flinched as he passed. He ignored their fear. I could crush you. I could take everything you have. I could make you suffer for generations. And part of me wants to. Part of me remembers every insult, every death, every moment of humiliation. His voice hardened. But that part of me is not the best part, and I refuse to let it win. He returned to the podium. Today, I announce the creation of the new Galactic Commonwealth, a true democracy. Every species will have equal representation. Every voice will matter. No one will be caged. No one will be called primitive. We will build something better than what existed before. For a long moment, no one moved. Then an alien leader slowly stood. It was the same species that had delivered the quarantine order 8 months ago. The creature bowed its head. We do not deserve this mercy. No, Park agreed. You do not. But mercy is not about what people deserve. It is about who we choose to be. The room erupted in noise. Some aliens wept. Others argued. But slowly, one by one, they agreed. The new Galactic Commonwealth was born. Admiral Yunhana watched the ceremony from a balcony above. An aide approached her. Admiral, the Council wants to offer you supreme command of all military forces in the Commonwealth. You would be the most powerful military leader in galactic history. Hana shook her head. I will decline. But why? She looked at the celebrating crowd below. I am a soldier, not a ruler. I was trained to win wars, not to govern peace. I will serve the Commonwealth. I will protect it, but I will not control it. That is not my place. Far away, Colonel Bei Sujin gathered her ghost division for the last time. 2,000 soldiers who had spent their lives in the shadows. They had won battles no one would ever know about. They had sacrificed everything for humanity. The war is over, Sujin told them. The Commonwealth does not need ghosts anymore. It needs builders, teachers, parents. She smiled, something rare for her. Go home. Live the lives you fought for. You have earned it. One by one, her soldiers saluted and walked away. When they were gone, Sujin stood alone. She removed her uniform and folded it carefully. Then she walked into the light, leaving her ghost behind. Ambassador Limbora worked day and night to build trust between species. She traveled to every world, listening to their fears and hopes. She answered their questions with patience. She showed them that humanity wanted partnership, not domination. 2 years after the war, she married an alien diplomat from one of the former enemy species. Their wedding was broadcast across the galaxy. Billions watched as human and alien exchanged vows of love and peace. This is what we fought for, Bora said at the ceremony. Not conquest. Connexio. N. Not revenge. Renewal. The galaxy can be one family if we choose to make it so. Dr. Kung Minho opened all of humanity's technology to the Commonwealth. Weapons became tools. Ships that carried bombs now carried medicine. The same factories that built missiles now built hospitals. Knowledge should not be hoarded, Kung told his colleagues. It should be shared. If one species advances, all species advance. That is how we build a future worth living in. A statue was erected on Earth, in the center of the Great Plaza, where the declaration of war had been made. It showed a human hand reaching up to clasp an alien hand. Below it, words were carved in every language in the galaxy. Came together in war. We stand together in peace. Never again. 10 years passed. President Park Geun-ho, now 70 years old, retired from public life. He spent his final years in a small house with a garden. He planted flowers. He read books. He watched the sunset. One afternoon, he walked to a nearby park. Human and alien children played together on the grass. They laughed and shouted without fear. To them, the war was history. The hatred was gone. A young alien child ran up to Park. It was small and blue, with curious eyes. "Excuse me, sir. Are you really the human president? The one from the war?" Park smiled gently. "I was a long time ago. My parents said humans were really scary back then." "Were you scary?" Park looked at the children playing. He looked at the sky full of ships carrying people of every species. He looked at the world humanity had built. "Only when we had to be," he said softly. "Only when there was no other choice." The child tilted its head, not quite understanding. Then it smiled and ran back to play with its friends. Park watched them for a long time. His heart was full of something he had not felt in decades. Peace, true peace. Not the absence of war, but the presence of hope. Humanity had faced the darkness of the galaxy. They had fought, suffered, and sacrificed. But in the end, they had chosen light. The galaxy had tried to cage them instead. Humanity had freed the galaxy. And in the parks of Earth, children laughed, never knowing how close the stars had come to burning. That was the best legacy of all. Park closed his eyes and listened to the laughter. He thought of his grandmother, who had lost everything so many years ago. He thought of all the people who had fought and died for this moment. "We did it," he whispered to them. "We really did it." The wind carried his words away, up into the sky, up into the stars that humanity had finally claimed, not as conquerors, but as family.